Warning, 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 warning. 3, 2, 1. The FantasyFootballTips.co podcast with Mills and Quigliano.
Hi, you're listening to FantasyFootballTips.co in association with FPL_The Source. My name's Mills, and with me, as always, Quigliano.
He's back. He's indoors.
He's indoors. He's feeling so much happier today. He's like a fish that's gone back to the ocean.
Well, I was a fish out of water last week, so definitely this is. I've renewed faith now. The only people that can hear me is just you, Mills, and I'm happy with that.
It's just me. Unfortunately, though, when this goes out later, there's going to be potentially millions of people listening.
Well, on that, some positive feedback. A lot of people liked the cup, didn't they, last week? It was rattling the whole way through that podcast.
Yeah, that was Quigliano's cup.
Yeah, one of our best podcasters so far. Much better than the other rabble that joined us at the golf club. But move on then. What are we talking about this week?
Well, we're gonna look back at the team that I put out on FantasyFootballTips.co in the week, second draft team. And we've made some changes again, which we've just looked at before coming on air, and we're going to talk about them. I still don't think we're 100%. We've also got some questions from the fans on Twitter and from the website, so we're going to be talking about that. And also, before we do get started, some really exciting news, Quigliano.
Go on then.
We've got a show sponsor. Not only a show sponsor, we've got an exclusive FantasyFootballTips.co sponsor. They're Premier Punt. So really, really excited to be working with PremierPunt.com.
What does that mean? What's Premier Punt?
Premier Punt.
Can I just stop you there? I'm pretty sure it was me that said you're looking for sponsors.
I think you did last week. Yeah, I think you said. So
we're talking big financial reward. Maybe Quigliano getting at least 50% of that.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. You might get a night out.
Trying to tie you into a binding contract.
Verbal contract. I like it, Quigliano. I like your style.
So what do they do then?
So Premier Punt, they are a fantasy football betting website. So they have weekly games, they have daily games, and you can go on, you can choose a team, and you can take on another person. You can play with real money, or you can play for free, and there are big prizes on there. And like I say, you take on other people, and then I think they want you to brag if you win. So they want you to go on Twitter, talk all about it, and take on a mate or take on a complete stranger. It doesn't matter if you win, then you take home the winnings. So Premier Punt.
We're watching this space then. I expect a bit more of a bit pumping up for them next time.
Absolutely. I mean, I tried. You know what I mean? I thought that was a good. I've had a look at the website, and next week actually I'm going to be reviewing it as well. So I'll be talking. I'm going to go on, have a go myself.
I quite like the idea of making some cash out of fantasy football. I'd obviously take yours and the rest of the lads' money in our mini league. I enjoy taking that, spending it. We're in decadent surroundings of my house, reap the rewards. But yeah, I could be up for that.
Absolutely. So, well, you talked about cash as well. As you're on the subject, £100 our sponsors have given us to give to you. If you win, not to you, Quigliano, to the listeners. Sorry, I should have been looking at the microphone then rather than you. To give to the listeners if you win our FPL league.
That makes me happy.
£100 cash, or currency equivalent, because we do have people from around the globe listening. And actually, I did talk last week. I think I put a tweet out. We've hit every continent apart from Antarctica.
Antarctic.
Yeah.
Arctic roll. Well, we need to get some listeners. Who's going over there? Anyone?
Well, I did put something out there on Twitter, but no one came back to me.
A couple of penguins.
Was looking for a few Inuits, but it didn't happen. But everywhere else we're there. So if you want to join our league, by the way, it's the league code. Obviously, you need to go to Fantasy Premier League, and the league code is 57114-16422. And the prize, as we said, £100 from our sponsors, Premier Punt. So Quigliano, what I want to do, I want to start off really by going back to the team that I put out there in the week, which had a couple of tweaks to the one we discussed on the podcast last time out.
You went behind my back, didn't you?
I did go behind your back a little bit, yeah, but I did ask for your advice. Let's be honest.
Yeah, okay, I'll accept it.
Okay. So the team this is what we've got at the moment. We've got Speroni in goal. This is our first 11, by the way.
The standard backup. That's our tactic. I did read your article on the goalkeeper thing.
Yeah.
But you rated it 8 out of 10 as a tactic.
Well, nothing's perfect.
Carrying on.
It was rated the top tactic, to be fair. So Speroni in goal with Hennessy on the bench. We've got a back three of Klein, Richards and Aspi from Chelsea. We've got in midfield, we've got Matt Ritchie, we've got Hazard, we've got Depay, and we've got Yaya Toure. And then up front we had 3, which we went for Benteke, who is obviously now at Liverpool, Giroud and Rooney. That was what we got.
Cheapies on the bench.
Oh, sorry, bench.
Cheapies on the
throw
bench.
those out. Cheapies, yeah. So we've got Cameron, Baker and Bentaleb.
Nothing on the bench there.
No.
You won't
bench boost isn't going to be great, is it? No. But we've made a few tweaks to that, haven't we? So we've come in today and we've looked at it.
We've got our heads together.
Do you think?
I think Yaya question marks still.
Why?
Reasonable price. Because of last season's form.
Mm.
He offered very little. And Richie, we're not sure on Richie either.
We still like those opening fixtures. Those 6 opening fixtures look very tasty for Bournemouth. So many assists last season, so many goals from midfield. But again, I know it's the step up, isn't it?
You're talking to a Wolves fan here. I know what that league is like, and they romped it. So they were beating teams easily. So when you're in a team that's already doing well, it's okay. Like Afobe, top goal scorer in the whole of England at Wolves. Does that mean that if we went up, he'd be the top goal scorer in the Premier League? No.
No, absolutely
it's a different kettle of fish, and it's always a hard start to life coming from Championship to Premier League. So I'm thinking we take him out.
Okay, so we have. So we talked about it, and we have, and what we've done, you've got to look at pre-season form, haven't you? At the moment, we've not got a lot else to go.
Bit.
Not massively, but you've got to read something into it.
I go with my mentor there, Mourinho, and the fact that he was basically saying they're irrelevant.
It
means nothing.
It's true, but did you see the goal that Jordan Ibe scored in the week?
Why are you talking about Ibe?
Because we've put him in, haven't we? We've taken Richie out and we've put Ibe in there as our backup. No, actually, no, we've not. We were talking about putting him in as backup. But
a cheap starter.
A cheap starter. £5 million gets you a potential Liverpool starter. He looks good.
Reasons for the price and a bit of attacking potential. But I did say I wanted to bring this up, and I'm sorry, Matt, I'm bringing it up now. The Liverpool conundrum. There's too many Liverpool players I want in my team in midfield.
Go on, then.
I think we're going to end up with Jordan Ibe.
Probably, yeah.
Henderson at 7 million. Last season was good. Coutinho, he was in there before. I see you've chopped him, so thank you for that.
I did say I was quite vocal on the last podcast. I had to get him out.
Milner playing centre midfield, former superstar at Villa. He obviously faded at City.
Well, he did all right at City. To be fair, he was doing a job for them, wasn't he?
Lallana is still an option. With Firmino, who I do like, he's got the stats in Germany. Like I would like one of those in that team, and yet we've got Ibe,
who scored 21 points last season. But obviously he's a young player and he's coming through. If we think back to when Sterling broke through into the Liverpool team, Rodgers kind of drip fed him in. He started some games, he came on as subs in others, and then he was rested, of course. I think it'll be a similar situation for Ibe this season. I don't think he's going to start every game by any stretch, but I think there's a good chance that he'll start about half the games. And I think he'll make a few substitute appearances as well. The question is that enough to be in the starting team? Now, at the moment, we're saying it is, but he's only costing us £5 million. And what it's allowed us to do is strengthen other areas, particularly our forward line.
So you've swapped, or we, let's not say I see that you've done it, we've taken out Yaya for Sterling. More advanced position for him, we reckon.
Yeah, I do. I am a lot more comfortable with that, I've got to say. He's going to play. They've spent so much money on him. He's going to play every game. He's got it. For me, the other thing is if we took Yaya out and put in Ozil or someone like that who we were considering, or Walcott, we've got no Man City coverage at all. So those game weeks where Man City obliterate a team, we're going to miss out.
Yeah.
Although we are going to be potentially bringing back Aguero for game week 4. We've already kind of discussed that, haven't we?
Yeah, we're leaning towards, but that would be an early wild card potentially to make that happen.
Yeah, and I think also there are a couple of strategies there that we could perhaps adopt, but we'll be talking about that in our podcast, probably game week 2, between game week 2 and 3, what we're going to do to make sure we get Aguero back in our team. So what do we do up front? What have we done there, Quigliano?
We've chopped Rooney, which is a tough decision to make.
Big decision, yeah.
Because he is looking like the lone sole striker there. But Costa, he's a goal scorer. He's at Chelsea. He's still going to be the main man for me. He's swapped his role with Falcao. I can never say that name.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. And he scored a good amount of goals last season as well, didn't he? Without actually playing that many minutes. I think he played...
about 2,000 minutes he played.
Yeah, as opposed to someone like Pella, who played over 3,000 minutes, and Costa got a point more. And Costa was the third top striker in the division. So, it was a good return, really, in terms of minutes played. Now... Yes, there's always going to be the concern that Costa might get you a red card. There's always the concern that that hamstring might go. But that's something we can deal with as we go along. And if it does, we've got Rooney or someone like that who we can bring back in.
I was going to say, same concerns for Rooney. He's cost me a few points throughout the years of fantasy football. So, don't know. There's still a lot of change here. People are going to need to stick to the website to. They are.
There could potentially be one more change, couldn't there? Now we have made another change, haven't we? Down at the back, in the back 3, because we have. I'm just going back to our original team. It's changed that many times. It's so hard to remember. Oh no, we haven't. We've kept it the same. Sorry, I thought we'd.
Yeah, I wondered where you're going there.
Sorry, I thought Richards was a new addition, but he's not. No.
No, we're talking about if. Potentially putting in, you like the Man United lad, don't you?
Darmian, yeah. There was a concern that he was injured in midweek, actually, in the last fixture, but I think he's come through unscathed. He looks decent. The concern is, and LVG has said that he's not a guaranteed starter.
Valencia is the right back of choice. What about Shaw? Would you gamble on Shaw?
Yeah, I mean, actually, LVG did say in the week that Shaw is part of his anticipated starting 11. So potentially,
5.5, it's same price.
It's the same price, but from what we know of Darmian, is a very attacking fullback, and yes, Shaw is to an extent as well, but Shaw had such a poor season last season with injury and then with poor form. It's a tough one, isn't it? But we've gone with Micah Richards. We've invested the money elsewhere. I'm quite happy with that team. So as the team stands, our starting 11, we've got Speroni in goal. We've got Klein, Richards and Aspi in the back 3. We've then got Ibe, Hazard, Depay, Sterling as our 4 in midfield. And this is a great forward line, I think. Giroud, Costa and Benteke at Liverpool. We've got Liverpool covered, Chelsea and Arsenal in our top 3 strikers there. That is, yes, it's quite top heavy.
Just how you like them.
Well, love it. Okay, so we're in association with FPL_the Source on Twitter. If you didn't know, go and follow us, you silly person. Got some questions from Twitter.
Very polite, silly person.
Well,
kept it PG. I like that.
PG all the way, universal, I'd say, to be honest. Okay. Although there is no official rating.
Probably is a minimum age to be on Twitter.
Maybe.
Do you know that?
I don't. Did you?
I have no idea.
So there you go. We're not gonna make ourselves liable to any kind of lawsuits here. Right. So I've got a question from Chris Novaks. He's messaged us at FPL_the Source.
G'day.
He's asking. Well, he's been quite forceful actually in saying he's pretty adamant that Hazard he's not going to go with. And he says this, he says a fully fit Walcott at 2.5 million less than Hazard is the way to go, looking at the early fixtures, IMO, in his opinion.
Get him in the league. Get this lunatic in there.
Want to take him on?
I'd like to finish above him.
Okay, so he then goes on to say, looking at pre-season, I can't see how you'd leave Walcott out. And that Cazorla, Ramsey and Ozil and Walcott will be the starters for Arsenal. First of all, opinions on that? I mean, if you had to go for one of those players, Walcott, Cazorla, Ramsey, Ozil, who would you go for?
Well, I'm going to correct him on the no Hazard thing. You've got to have Hazard. Ignore the price. He has to be in there. So, Chris, don't make that mistake. But looking at that, if you're determined to ignore this advice, I do like Walcott, and he's got that advantage of being kind of like a striker, really. He is a striker in that team. I just don't know whether he'll play week in, week out. At which point I'm looking at the rest, and it's probably between Ramsey and Ozil. Ramsey has performed previously, so you could back him up, but I prefer Ozil. Either way, he scored, and again, ignore the pre-season, but he did score and get 2 assists. He's a quality player. He does play further up the pitch. So I'd probably stick with him, and I'd be more keen to have him in my team for the rest of the season than be worrying about Walcott playing week in, week out, and maybe I can just sub him out.
Okay, so then that leads me on to the next question. If you were to leave Hazard out, would you then go for 2 of those players?
2 from the same team?
Yeah,
no.
Not for you?
No, I mean, I've already heard people talking about having Depay and Schweinsteiger in there, saying, Schweinsteiger could be a cheap one. If you've got...
Schneiderlin, I think, was the question.
Oh, was it Schneiderlin? Well, either way, you're right, because Schweinsteiger's 7 million, actually, isn't he, I think?
Yeah, and he's injured.
Exactly, yeah. So people are not talking about that. I don't think you can have 2 from the same. I know at the start of last season, maybe Hazard and Fabregas, but then that died off. I can't see 2 midfielders from the same team. I don't like it. It's too risky. If they draw a blank, you're losing points all the time. You're going to slip down the rankings. So ignore that one. No.
Okay. Sorry, Chris. Okay, thanks, Quigliano. We've got one more for you. Again, it's come from Twitter.
Can I just stop you there? I do like the question time with Quigliano. I like this.
That's features.
This needs to be. I'd like my own jingle. I know you've sort of got a start-off jingle for us. The warning.
Okay, I can do a live jingle for you if you want.
Go on then, yeah.
Okay.
Indulge me.
I'm not quite sure what that was supposed to be. That was like a drum roll.
Right,
okay, but
it's going to go nails, please.
Question time with Quigliano.
Okay,
bit dark.
Bane-esque.
Bit dark.
Bane-esque, yeah.
Okay.
Carry on.
Anyway, so the question comes from Lockie Brown, again on Twitter. So Lockie wants to know: are there any players, big players, that you think we should avoid? So any big players that we should avoid?
Well, he cost me a lot of points last season. Eriksen, stuck with him for a long time.
Still got 162 points over the season, which is not a bad return. Is
Yeah,
that just because you picked him at the wrong time?
I think I got about 5 of those points because he did nothing for the latter quarter of the season.
So it's fits and starts really with him. It's picking him while he's hot.
I mean, he's a player I do rate, so he's a bit of a gamble. And another one I'd like to gamble. What's the question? I'm not even answering the question, am I?
The question is, who should you avoid?
So players to avoid again then, I'm sticking with Spurs. The defence. I'm just looking at them now, actually. There's a lot of players in there that I rate, like Alderweireld, who was at Southampton. I wish he'd have stayed there because he'd have been straight in my team. Ben Davis is another good left-back, but he's just rotten.
Yeah.
Danny Rose gets in the front, but they were useless last season anyway at the back. And for me, there's too many to choose from. So definitely avoid a Spurs defender. Okay,
and then the flip side of that, Lockie wants to know: are there any cheap gambles? Any cheap gambles that we could go for? Doesn't have to be Spurs; it can be anywhere.
Not necessarily the cheapest gamble, but I'm intrigued to see this Firmino. He's got good stats coming over, and everyone's jumped on Depay, not questioning it. But what's this Firmino going to do? Coutinho.
You've got
Someone's
that.
Got to back me up.
Please, Coutinho, do not score in the first couple of game weeks because I'm not going to live this down on the podcast.
I'm a big fan of both of those players.
I'm almost slightly concerned that you're going to go in at 11:28 on the 8th of August AM and change the team and put Coutinho in.
I did that last season, so I may do it this season. Those are my gambles there. I think they are a gamble, but potentially could be one worth taking. But if we're looking at an early wild card, which we are, if he does turn out to be 24 karat gold, then he may go in the team.
Okay, so if you've got a question for Quigliano or for me, you never know, someone might, fire it across on Twitter, FPL_the source, or go to fancyfootballtips.co and just leave a comment somewhere or drop us an email, support@fancyfootballtips.co.
You're forgetting one thing.
What am I forgetting, Quigliano?
The captain.
No, we're coming on to that, so I haven't forgotten it at all. This is probably going to be the last podcast before the start of the season. Boo-hoo, I know, we've had a good run. This is our third one, pre-season podcast.
Real life commitments taken over, are
Well, that's it. You know, some of us have to go on holiday at some point, so it's a tough life, I know.
That's where you need to live in the fancy world with me.
That's right, yeah. I mean, this is living the fancy dream, isn't it?
Definitely, yes.
So we're looking at game week 1. Obviously starts the 8th of August. Deadline 11:45. 11:45.
Just noticed that myself.
Interesting. 11:40. So you've got an extra 15 minutes.
What is the kick-off time? What is the kick-off of
the first game is 1:45. So you can't really get the fixtures, I don't think.
No.
You're going to struggle. You're going to be leaving it very fine unless there's something leaked early.
That gives me 15 more minutes to change my team, though. Despite all this prior preparation, I'm going to be messing around, fretting, making last-minute changes, finding out the website.
This is to your personal team, not the podcast team. Yeah.
This is when the website crashes because that many people are logged on there.
Yeah.
I'll be the one that's going mad because I finally decided that the player to have in my team is Mario Balotelli.
Who we're not going to discuss today. So what we're talking about then is who's the captain for game week 1. There's some tasty fixtures. Chelsea at home against Swansea. United home to Spurs.
The relaunch of United.
Yeah, that's it. Arsenal at home to West Ham. New kind of setup under Bilic. And then Man City travel to West Brom. Now, obviously, you don't have to choose from one of those teams. Liverpool away to Stoke. We know what happened on the last day of the season last time.
Well, I'm back in Coutinho already.
So where do we look? I mean, that's probably where most people are going to be looking for captain. Just another one, by the way. Everton at home to Watford. Lukaku scored a hat-trick. Again, it's pre-season, but he did score a hat-trick against Hearts the other day. Where are we looking for captain?
Well, Chris Novak is not going to be happy with this because I am going to go for Eden Hazard as my captain choice for game week 1. He is that bully player. He is talking of ticking on to become Ronaldo Messi.
That's what he wants, isn't he? Yeah, he wants
to be up there. He wants it. So I see him potentially. We have got another choice there because we've got Costa as well. Of the fixtures, I prefer that in terms of like what we're looking at. City away is tempting, but it's Monday night fixtures. I never like waiting for my captain to play on a Monday night. We'd potentially looking at Sterling there if that was the case. United home to Spurs. I mean, I have just slagged off their defence, so maybe you put your trust in Depay. But if I had Rooney, I'd be choosing that option there. Okay. Stick to your home. Always stick to your home players if you can, unless it's Aguero.
Okay, and obviously we're not expecting him to be playing, so I kind of agree with you, I think. Looking at our team, I think there'll be a lot of people going Hazard captain. 52% of managers have Hazard in their team.
Chris Novak doesn't.
Chris Novak's one of those that doesn't. You're not going to forget that name, are you, Cristiano?
Get him on the show.
Give us a call. We can do a Skype. I don't know where you are in the world, Chris, but yeah, you're more than welcome to come on and fight your corner with Quigliano. But I would say probably half of those people go Hazard captains. That's 25% of teams potentially having Hazard as captain.
That leaves you differential potential, mate. I know you like Costa, that differential potential. And that's why I potentially would argue Costa, because I think there'll be less people going Costa for captain. What do you think about that? I've just said it. He's an option. He's definitely he's up the pitch. He's the man to sit the ball in the back of the net. So yeah, he's not a bad bet. If I was going for that, it'd be him. If you've got Lukaku in your team, is that a shout against Watford at home? Yeah, that isn't a bad shout. It's a good one, yeah. I'm just looking elsewhere. Man United at home to Spurs. Do we expect big things from them? They put 3 past Barca. I know it was pre-season. I know all that, but they're looking a bit more potentially. But that first game week's always a bit tense. Yeah. Nothing's won in the first game week, is it? But you can give yourself a chance. And we're going to go Chelsea. We're back in Chelsea, first game week to hit the ground running. Yeah, sticking our neck out with the champions. Sitting on the fence, just the way we like to do it. Okay, Quigliano, it's been a pleasure, as always. And I know you've enjoyed today's podcast so much more just because you are indoors and there are no live audience. No waitresses. That was a shame. That was, she didn't deserve to be heckled the way she was last week. Well, I didn't deserve to be interrupted and put under pressure. But let's move on. Well, JP didn't deserve to not get his ketchup, but these things happen in life. Anyway, we will be back the week after game week 1.
So this is it now, really, until then. If you've got questions, by the way, we've got a great article on fantasyfootballtips.co where you can literally just go on, you can upload your team, and we'll give you some advice. We'll try and give you advice and see how that goes. Lots of people have done it so far. People seem to like it. So please go there and do that. If you've not subscribed to our Twitter channel, please go to Twitter and follow us there.
Provided you're the correct age to join Twitter.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say Twitter. I meant to say YouTube.
Right, okay.
So there you go, on
You're
YouTube
welcome.
as well. So go and join our YouTube channel. And don't forget, go and take a look at premierpunt.com. They are our new site sponsors, show sponsors, and sponsoring our FPL League.
You're going to be bigging those up a lot.
Going to be bigging them up. I love them already. So that's it from Mills.
Yeah, good riddance to him, and that's a goodbye from Quigliano.
And we'll see you during game week 1. See you next time.
Warning, 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 warning. 3, 2, 1. The FantasyFootballTips.co podcast with Mills and Quigliano.